Let's see if I can actually do this proper.
Let's do this.
Where's the share with sound option?
299 episodes.
In my
still
defense,
just as good
Just
at
saying.
getting
in my
started.
defense, I have not
What's in your defense,
recorded,
please?
but like the last dozen of them.
My defense, I have been fairly.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we don't discriminate. As long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips and tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or lucky enough. And Chrissy gives us just the tip. We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to a California Highway episode of our podcast. It is episode 299. What? California 299 is a major east-west corridor from the Arcata to Eureka area in Humboldt County on the Pacific Coast to the Nevada state line. East of the Alturas and connects Weaverville, Redding, Blue Lake, and Willow Creek. It is less than 300 miles and wholly located within the state. When California 299 reaches the Nevada border, it reverts to an unpaved road. Not driving on a scenic byway out west? Well, then check out your E1R bingo card. It also reverts into a dirt road. Awesome. What you working on?
Welcome to Nevada. It's all dirt.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for that little bit of West Coast history. Mental, tell us what you have been doing.
So I just got back from Gingerman. We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks, but we'll also talk about the results. And I just solidified my plans to travel to, drum roll please, Alaska, because I bought one of the last two remaining spots in the Alaska I Threw a Rod in Alaska rally. I've spent this week trying to I just like the heck with it. I'm buying it. I want to do it. I don't have a partner. I didn't have a car, but I do have a car coming up. So you're just going to have to watch what happens with that. Some great folks in that part of the country have offered to help me out. It's going to be fantastic. And then I spent last night recording with the Garage Heroes in Training. They have a couple of episodes coming out on their Dominating with Dawson. I'll be on those, and I'll also be on a series that they're doing about Lemon's judging. If you two have not gotten an email yet already, expect that to come very soon.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm fascinated by what Chris has on what he's been working on.
It's exactly what it sounds like. Here's what I've been working on. All kinds of things and almost nothing. Because we have been traveling essentially nonstop for the last month.
All of us
travel, right? Travel.
Yeah, yes.
What's pack, travel, come home, recover,
unpack, laundry,
unpack, right? Repeat.
Go to work a little bit.
Repeat.
Still fairly behind every time we get to work, and then we're like, yeah I gotta go again. Sorry. Yep.
See ya.
Yep. Struggle's real.
Yeah, in that time frame, I don't remember what I even last talked about on the show. Like we hadn't gone to New Jersey yet, so I was still prepping the car for Jersey, I think, or it was done. I was put in the trailer. I think that's where we were.
I think so.
So since then the Mazda is still in the trailer. I haven't even bothered to take it out of the trailer yet. Nope. And what else have I done? Well, I washed the NSX one day, and I fixed the beach cart after the wheel
You absolutely
tore off that. The wheel mount tore off that. I just said, let's get that done. So I reinforced that quite significantly. Like for example, where the tube that holds the wheel, I previously had just kind of butt welded it onto part of the frame of the cart. I actually cut a hole in the frame and sunk it down in, and then welded it that way, and then put on a big brace in the front, and then these big triangle plates on the sides that are it's anyway. It is notably stronger now. I also took one of the drive pins out of one of the wheels on the back, so that it is now one wheel drive, but it turns really nicely now, where before it didn't turn at all. Lock diff, had more traction than we inspected. So I think that's it. I have to go get the Corvette so I can actually clean it up and put it for sale. I think we're going to do that tomorrow, Thursday.
So if you want
And
a
then I have to
hella
actually look at the
sweet
boat.
disco vet with Provenance, stay tuned to our social media.
Yeah. So next week I'll be talking about getting the disco vet out, getting the boat out of storage, because it's almost July. And yeah.
Yep.
Time.
So I'm just going to go with ditto on that because we did all the same traveling. We did all the same. So maybe while he was welding a little bit, I was running around here just trying to make us food. And we had Jersey in between there. So we had plenty of packing and then unpacking, and house is a mess. We started cleaning actually because it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since we've actually like touched anything in the house. So it's been a lot. But we are home now for a while. So that's great. Only a little bit of travel and only a little bit on the schedule. So all good. So I wanted to give a sorry for the hiatus, and we wanted to thank you for all of the love to the listeners that said that they missed our voices on both coasts, on everywhere that we've been all over. We definitely saw lots of friends when we were in Colorado, which we'll talk about, New Jersey. People were saying that they missed us. So thank you. We've missed you. Hopefully we won't have to do that again for a while. We are back in action, and thanks for bearing with us. We appreciate it.
Okay, because you guys are getting the "we missed you." I'm getting the "what's the matter with you, you lazy clowns."
Well,
Holy
maybe I
crap!
was
I'm getting texts from Bill. Good
I was
God.
generalizing the comments that we got all over the country, just about all of the, occasional hiatus. It was weird for us too, because we just didn't like not having a show, but we occasionally like the little bit of extra time, especially when we had one night at home. I think one time we had 2 nights at home, and we were like, can't swing a show with all of this going on. So
We
here
didn't
we are.
vacuum for a month, so that's how busy it's been.
There's that.
Wow.
Let's move on. News and notes time. Let's do it.
All right. While we were all in Colorado, America was in France. And if you've seen all the memes and the footage of the Garage 56 Camaro entry, and if you haven't, you're missing out. And I am going to just briefly share this one because this was my favorite of the photos that came out of this. And it's going to take a few seconds, but what this is the Garage 56 entry sitting there in a field with all of the other LMPs. That's not photoshopped. It looks like an SUV just lurking over every other race car.
I have not seen this picture. Holy crap. How can people see this? If you're listening on, it's racefans.net. I would just Google it. It's amazing.
Yes. Just literally type NASCAR at Le Mans. This is like the third picture like that'll come up.
Pretend cars like you're looking at them like on the floor, and they're all just like miniature, and oh wow.
I don't know if everyone remembers those jokes about how the BMW M8 and IMSA looked really huge compared to everything, so they'd like put really big versions of it.
Yes,
that's what this legitimately looks like without being changed.
No, that is an unaltered photo. And the other one I loved is the Apex Adjacent guys were talking about how initially the flaggers expected this thing to be so slow on the corners that they were prepared to wave a white flag. And what they found out is it's faster in the corners than the LMPE cars. And then a couple of them, it could run down. And I loved, there's a YouTube video. Jordan Taylor was great about posting this thing, but this thing on the Mousselon Straight at night with headlights. And it is just this deep bass freedom bald eagle sound of a V8 at full song charging into the night. And there's this little tiny WEC car ahead of it. And it's just, I'm coming for you, like an orca on a baby seal. It was awesome. If you haven't figured out, we're very excited about this. And this is the gift that keeps on giving, because one of those drivers, Jenson Button, Formula One champion, is now ready to return to racing full time. Charles Bradley at motorsports.com reports that just ahead of next month's Chicago NASCAR street race, Jenson has spoke that he is looking at the World Endurance Championship or something with IMSA Sports Car Championship. Button himself added, quote, I didn't think that I would want to do a full season again because of how busy the schedule is, but I feel that I'll be racing in something next year doing the full season. So when?
That's awesome. You okay?
Yeah. Sorry. Don't breathe water. Doesn't work very well. Anyway, we promised updates as the whole story with the Massachusetts right to repair law progressed. And here's another. Brandon Gilligy at Haggerty is reporting that the NHTSA is telling U.S. automakers not to comply with the law in Massachusetts. Reuters added that NHTSA is concerned that, quote, open access to vehicle manufacturers' telematic offerings with the ability to remotely send commands allows for manipulation of such systems on a vehicle, including safety critical functions such as steering, acceleration, and braking, end quote. Meanwhile, Ford, GM, VW, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, and other manufacturers filed suit in the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts to block the law. More as it develops. Just want to fix stuff. Come on.
Right? Ugh. Okay. From our fifth host, Eric Rude, Nelson's Ledges runs an endurance race once a year to keep its overnight permit. With no one to register, they gave it to the SCCA, who hasn't been aggressive in pushing enduros in this region. Want to guess who's here to save the day? Yeah, it's a bare minimum for an overnight race, just going until 1 a.m. They have 19 cars registered. Of those 19, 5 are Lemons cars, another 5 are Champ cars. A Mazda 3 Mustang, a Merkur, duh, because it's a Lemons car, a Rabbit, a Boring E46, and which are all Lemons veterans. Good luck to Crapcan racers represent. Nelson's
Yeah.
Ledges.
Get some. I hope so hard that one of the Lemons cars wins. And that's not a fool's errand. Those are some good teams. They could do it.
And if they want to say that they have won the only overnight Nelson's Ledges race, then there's probably some effort there. I'm sure somebody's going to put in the effort to win. Okay, so I was looking around racingjunk.com just for fun things to look at and buy, and I found this awesome Airstream trailer, but it was early access only. And if only I had early access, or I knew someone that had it so they could look it up for me and get me more information. I did not have my early access available, and you can do that too.
We do have early access. We have an E1R account.
I know.
That's the joke.
I knew I had one. I don't know our login, which means that I don't have one and I should have one. So you can have one if you go use code POD23 and get a Racing Junk Pro membership, which includes early access. There's plenty of things out there. They sit right at the top. So I was like, ooh, what is that? I want to click on it. And I'm like, it says, do you want early access? And I was like, I do, but I don't know how to get into it. So there's all kinds of fun things if you use code POD 23.
Right. I was really hoping you actually had the link in there, because now I got to go on racingjunk.com and I got to find this awesome Airstream.
So also I'm going to throw this out there. We are headed to the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. You need to subscribe to the YouTube. You have to. They will not spam you. You will get to see cool things. We were just talking about us doing all the awesome things that we're going to be able to do and see and talk about. You're going to want to see it because we will be on there. So go to Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. Look it up. They need 1,000 subscribers. I think they weren't up. They may be in the like 500, 600. I haven't looked lately, but we still have another month, so you have time, but go there now while you're thinking of it. If you have friends, log on to their YouTube and make sure you subscribe.
You get that spam email address, set up a YouTube account, because it's all owned by Google anyway. Subscribe.
If you're sick of us, then feel free to watch the other videos that they have on there with not us. That's also
yes,
good.
That's true.
And you'll see so much. We're very excited. We're just talking about it. So more to come on that, because maybe we'll have a preview. Okay, moving right along. Upcoming races. Champ is at CMP. There will be 36 cars. 36 cars on
Crickets.
Champ on CMP. 36.
Cricket.
Goodness gracious. They have a lot of crickets. They're in the middle of nowhere.
They do. They have crickets. They have poisonous snakes. They have curry.
Fire ants.
Fire ants.
Sounds like a great time. Okay, they have 10 BMWs. Kind of not really boring.
Boring.
7 Miatas, 1 Honda, which is a Prelude, 0 Porsches, and a Dodge Stratus, a Volvo C30, and an SC300F, and a whole bunch of other boring cars.
And I've raced with the builder of that Dodge Stratus. It is quick.
Well, good.
I hope they win.
I'm just happy that someone's racing a Dodge Stratus. Like we all are, really. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Racing results.
Lemons
I'm
went to
told.
NJMP.
I told at CMP it was just a city boy.
It
Don't.
was. Yep.
Don't. No.
Hey,
Just stop singing it.
the wheel of the show keeps on turning.
No, it doesn't.
So at we were at NJMP.
Faithfully.
It does basically keep turning.
Stop.
As
Okay.
long as you don't stop believing mental, that's the really important part of it.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about our experience at this fantastic race kind of an upcoming show. But right now, we'll at least bring you the results. Overall, Class A win. Towley.
Went to Towley.
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah. Class B went to Radley Baby, which now called Sisyphean AMC. Okay, Phil Ellinger, all right, great. That's the AMC Hornet. This thing was in the top 5 for most of the weekend in an AMC Hornet. Awesome.
I heard a rumor Mike Carr even showed up.
He did. Yeah, we saw him.
For a while, the top 3 contained an AMC Hornet and a Dodge Aspen, and that's overall.
That's fantastic.
But the Hornet's been
racing.
coming around since Monticello. So it's not like they don't have this very sorted.
Monticello was basically stock in brown and rolling onto its door handles.
Sure.
Since then.
But that's what I mean. Like that was like in what, I don't know, 13, 14? Yeah, like very, very long time ago. Maybe even
Plus
before
Phil's
that.
a very good driver.
Correct.
And the other guy too. I forget the other guy's name.
Me too.
Anyway, Class C, Sesame Street Outlaws. This is Manny's team with the Saturns. This is the slowest one, the gray one, the Saturn SL, not SL1, not SL2, SL base model. That's basically all the rookies that they tossed in that thing, and the damn thing just kept going all weekend. So
well, I know they probably all listened to Manny when they did their pit stops too. That guy's fantastic.
Yep. The other 2 cars broke. Like one of them, spun a rod and something else, but this one just kept turning.
When he walks over and I was like, "How are things going?" He was like, "Do you have an engine hoist?" And I was like,
"Oh no,
well,
sorry, Manny."
That's the sad game is when you're looking for an engine hoist.
So the theme for that Saturn SL for the next one, they just start calling that car the wheel in the sky.
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely,
because it just keeps turning.
Sure.
Heroic Fix was a team called Pimp My Ride. They had a Celica that had an incredible body kit. They were doing a motor swap in the garage like all weekend. I don't know why it took them. It was the whole weekend. And I think they got out for the the last half hour of the race after doing the whole weekend. Anyway, Judge's Choice, Valve Tap Racing, Jim and family. Because we know what they have, 1 Cordoba. You know what's better? 2 Cordobas. So they brought 2 Chrysler Cordobas, and of course, Eric had that be the very start of the race. Was the 2 Cordobas.
Yeah,
and one of them they're actually pushing.
Yeah.
Road Mangler, the wife said I could, Lexus ES300. Good for them.
I remember that one. That was the tiger striped one last year that she spent all weekend wrenching.
Yeah, they actually crashed into Tom Lamino pretty hard right in front of me because he was going through the corner and spiked the brakes, locked up those Yokohama tires, and slid sideways right into Tom, who was at the edge of the track. Kind of a shame.
I did hear to their credit though, they tried to
they were very nice about it.
They tried to buy Tom's car and pay for everything.
Oh yeah,
so
they're very nice about it. I just felt bad that apparently those Yokohama tires didn't do so hot to get them around that corner.
Those Yokohamas are great tires, but they're not miracles.
Yeah.
They won't fix that much bad driving.
I got screwed. I don't even know really the story here. Hyper Wiper and the Hemi Framus Synergies. It's a Porsche 920 something. It didn't work. Right. Everyone understands. Everyone's like, yeah, okay, that's about right. Regional, living in a van down by the racetrack. That's Zach and the fools who buy seats with him in the Van and Ball Dodge Caravan.
The worst part of that, as I understand it, is Eric offered him. That was the free entry into Gingerman because he won the regional on that one. So I got to see him last weekend.
Yeah, Zach stayed at our house Sunday night after the race.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah. He didn't tell me that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. He left 1 Nomex sock and some change. So, oh well.
And he took one of our dryer balls. Just
He
saying.
did.
That's okay.
Because we thought doing laundry would be
Oh,
about the
that is
greatest thing in
like-
the world for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Zach,
Yep, totally. All right. Org choice. The illustrious tuna chuckers and their Volvo Amazon, they had a Swedish police costume thing going all weekend that they kept up all weekend, which is nicely. They even changed their engine Sunday afternoon and went to go get back on track as the checker flew. Oh,
Aw.
wah. Sad. IOE, the British Empire strikes back in a Sunbeam Alpine. Now, we've all
Ooh.
seen this Alpine fail to barely make it around the track ever before. It just kept driving all weekend.
It was awesome. And
Wheels
they did
wobbling.
they did
just-
pretty well. They stayed
they
out of
did.
the way.
Yep.
And they weren't like so slow. They were slow, but you get around them and they're so small too.
Mhm.
That
Yeah, it helps that it's a very small, it's very slow IOE car. It's easy to get around.
Sure.
Halloween Meets Gasoline went to Garage Heroes and Monkey House combined for their very committed dodgeball theme that they had all weekend. So
and
great
and,
job
and the
by
level
all
of
them.
commitment they had to outdo the other teams for that.
Yeah,
Like us.
solid. Well, when
Yeah,
several
exactly.
several large everyone around dodgeball games started to happen, like in BS when healing the staff is helping is throwing dodgeballs, anyone around is throwing everyone. Yeah, things
After
like that.
dinner, all the whole
yeah.
all of the judges, the whole garage became
everyone of a certain age has a certain level of PTSD with the sound of a rubber ball bouncing off of a head, that kind of metallic ting sound, and instantly we're all back in grade school and crying a little bit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Tim Burr went on Facebook and bought a box of assorted wrenches to throw at people when it was safe to do so. So
Or they
Because-
threw
they had foam ones too.
foam ones. They dropped the metal ones, so it made the clang sound. Yes, that's happened. That happened. They did a great job, and their first time that they've won, so they were very happy. So all good for them.
I was talking with the Fishers, and they were saying the Jesse Combs Foundation car had a mechanical, and they were off the track, so they were
Yes.
throwing them in their car, and then
Yes.
had to kind of coach them a little bit about
Yes.
This is how you endurance race.
Oh yes.
Some of them were going straight down the middle of the track on the
I
artistic line,
called
very
in.
slowly.
I called in and said, we got to black flag them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's wonderful. I love Jesse Combs. I mean, like, I'm all about trying to make this happen, but putting them in a race car on a race day and not
On a
knowing who
Sunday
was
when everyone else is
racing,
In New Jersey.
racing,
Yeah.
with 100
not-
other cars.
not a great idea. And it would have been awful, just like Lamino's car, for somebody to crash into them thinking you are a normal race car Honda that goes normal speeds and you're driving in the middle of the track going 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Instead, Alan was the only one that crashed it. So
Truth.
not normal.
And that's okay because he works on the car. If you
Yep.
just arrive and drive on
Well,
people.
It's not his fault. He saw a squirrel and he turned and he couldn't do anything about it. So what do you
Oh, epic.
anyway?
We
Metal,
miss
you were at
Alan.
Gingerman. What happened at Gingerman?
We were at Gingerman. It was a fantastic time. I was there with the infamous Randy Bish and Shelly's House of Speed, aka Tammy from that CMP race eons ago. What a great time. It was rather like our ride in the Mustang. My stomach hurt by the end of the day, every day. So much fun. But your winner of Index of Affluency was Wisconsin Crap Racing. Now, in addition to the regular car, they brought a Suzuki Kagashi. And if you're wondering what the hell a Suzuki Kagashi is, it was a sedan Suzuki made towards the end of their presence as an automobile dealer. And Eric, because he's Eric Rude, sent us this data. They only sold 3,379 of those things from 2009 to 2015. And of those, and by the way, this is globally, of those, a quarter of those were acquired by the Japanese National Police Agency. So this is a terrible, terrible car. CVT transmission. And we were all predicting the transmission would blow up. And one of the guys came by and said, "You're wrong. The transmission's doing just fine. The engine's sitting at 6,000 RPMs everywhere because the transmission won't adjust. So the engine's always having to redline."
Oh,
But it
no.
just kept going. They took it
Wow.
in on trade they gave $100 for it. The hood was smashed up and they couldn't find a new hood, so they just bolted it down. This was a wonderfully terrible car that they drove very clean all weekend. Our Halloween meets gasoline trophy was here for the beer motorsports in a Mini Cooper. Their theme, because it was Father's Day weekend, they were all dads. So they all had their NASCAR shirts on. They all had fanny packs. One guy had an itemized list of everything in his fanny pack. They had, of course, the New Balances of the socks, and they rode around the pits in a John Deere mower. They never came out of character. At midnight on Saturday night, people are Randy Bish and his crew are doing what Randy Bish and the LOLMB always do, and they're a little altered, and they're like, "Hey, sport, you call me when you get home. All right, keep it between the ditches." They never stopped. So much so on Sunday we had them in the penalty box for any time somebody went 4 off. They would get a lecture about how hard they worked on the lawn. EB Motors heroic fix was the legendary Acura Legend. You'll appreciate this, Chris. A 1 year only axle on this car
Oh no.
went off. They had to go to Gary, Indiana. And if you don't know why that's a problem, go to YouTube and type in Gary, Indiana, and look at the hundreds of videos of people that are saying what a crap hole Gary, Indiana is. And the voicemail they got when they were trying to find this axle was a guy going, look, man, there's this yard. Okay. The guy's going to tell you he doesn't have one, but he does. It's back there in the third row. And then nothing, just static. They don't even know what happened. The guy left them the voicemail. I got screwed was Glacial Pace Racing in an Audi A4 because Audi A4, and they have 4 of them, 3 of them with the V8s. Yeah. Yokohama Roadmaker Cup Global Cooling and a Subaru Impreza. Judge's choice was Disc Racing and a Ford Taurus. They showed up in Scottish outfits. They had a kilt on their car. They wore kilts all weekend, and they had a pneumatic compressor powered robot bagpipe hanging out the rear window that they could control with a Raspberry Pi touchscreen on their dash.
It's terrible.
Glorious. They made haggis for the potluck, and I got to tell you, I tried it, and turns out it was really good. So, of course, again, the organizer's choice, the Vannenball.
Yep.
He used up all of his brakes and then had to park the car because he needed a set of brakes to get home. So they kept it. They took it out of the checker. A regional award of You Came to the Wrong convention was marriage counseling in a Toyota Matrix. They were all dressed up as different anime people. They had done some racing, but they'd never done lemons, and they were committed, and they were all in these very elaborate anime costumes during a very hot weekend at Gingerman. But they stayed on it. Class C was Home Fail Motorsport and a Ford friggin' Ranger. So it turns out when Tyler Stank's not there, yeah, that's right. I said that, Tyler. They can win. So Class B was Focus Club and a Ford Focus. And overall was the infamous 750 Flying Pigs and that giant pink Mustang to wrap up an all blue oval podium.
Wow.
Across the board. Great weekend racing out there. Typical Midwestern type deal. We didn't have a single team get a third black flag on Sunday.
Wow.
Why? They didn't even need you there, basically, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Between Aaron gathering media for everything. Yeah. We just, me, Randy, and Shelly just sat around and told bad jokes.
Sounds like a great time. Which we could say the same about our judging experience. Anyway, let's do feedback time. On the gram, Nathan N said, y'all did a great job judging last weekend, and it was good to see Mental in one piece, and also good to see his recent Monaco expedition to F1 and their antics. They haven't eroded away his lemonitism. And he added that John Denver is full of shit, man. We'll have to get to that.
And just to, we're going to be talking about New Jersey, and we're going to be talking about Gingerman and all that kind of stuff. But we're also going to be talking about Monaco, and the two of you were in Canada, eh? So yeah, we talk about Montreal.
It's Quebec. It's different. There's no A. Sacre bleu.
That's right.
Merde.
Yeah, see, there you go. All right.
All the above.
Also on the gram, our buddies Apex Adjacent had a great team idea, seeing a picture of me, Randy, and Shelly with our hair done up properly. Credit to Aaron Cole for that artsy shot. Quote, can we start a great can we start a Good Hair Lemons team? We could get a 4-door and have the theme Vidal Saloon. This is a brilliant idea. We're going to talk, Ian. This is going to happen. I love it.
Has to be a Euro car of some sort too.
It does.
Yeah. Okay. On the YouTube, we got who said this? Damn it. I took the name. Whoever this is, great job. Thanks.
Thanks.
Glad y'all had a good time in Denver. Looking forward to hearing more about it. I also want to hear more about the development in the new Civic, which previously sounded promising. The RX-7 sounds more involved prep-wise. Anyway, I followed the Pittsburgh Grand Prix on YouTube. It was still 400 some. After listening to the latest Garage Heroes and Training podcast, I finally bought Hoopties, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So glad that Jeff played such a prominent role in it. I've been going through Jeff withdrawal. Hope he's well and will be at Jersey with the 3 p.m. crew. Well, I can tell you more about the development of the new Civic. Civic is done except for a cage and a fire bottle, and it's been that way for like a year. We just don't need it right now. We have the Mazda we're trying to win B, and Chrissy and I are not going to bring 2 race cars for 2 of us.
We're not.
We're
not.
Eventually the Civic will get that cage.
Yeah. We talked to Jeff. We just talked to Jeff not too long ago. He's still crazy busy.
Like an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, he was on his way to something else. He misses all of y'all as well. All right, I'm trying to, while I'm talking, I'm trying to bring up the YouTube channel and find out who made that comment, because I'm pretty sure it's one of our regulars.
Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, we'll catch it later. Yeah, the RX-7 is more involved prep-wise because that is getting the motor swap done, where the Civic is done. And we drove it on track last summer at Grid Life. We had it out. The only problem is it was running a little hot, but it was a really hot weekend, so the oil temps were hot. That's kind of expected. Yeah. So there we go.
All right.
That's all.
Do you know who we're going to invite onto our great hair Vidal Sassoon team? Oh, it was Ashley Doyle. Ashley Doyle was the one that told you about the.
Thanks, Ashley.
I knew it was one of our regulars.
So you're not inviting Jeff onto your Vidal Sassoon team. That's for
no,
sure.
no. This is the Vidal Saloon team. Only good hair. So naturally, we're going to have Chrissy's mom.
My mom. My sister has some nice hair too.
Your sister does have some nice hair.
Cookies lead to good shiny hair.
Or something.
You gave away my secret. Damn it.
Oh. No, although I make no guarantees for the amount of cookies that I gave away in New Jersey that it was going to give all of them good hair, because I don't know that that's going to happen. So they are not magic, even though they taste like magic. They don't grow your hair. So don't.
Like Dr. McGillicuddy's all-purpose salve. Good for what ails you.
And grows your hair.
Just have a cookie and call me in the morning. And do you have too much blood? And some leeches.
Okay. It's main topic time.
It is main topic time.
Let's do it.
So, folks, there are any number of tracks that Lemons goes to that are quite honestly in the middle of nowhere. CMP, Gingerman. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Buttonwillow is kind of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
What are the tracks? Hallett's middle of nowhere.
Chuckwalla
is definitely in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
High Plains Raceway, you start in the middle of nowhere and then you're going to drive for 40 minutes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because it's east of nowhere.
Yes. Well, Denver, start there. And then
don't even get. Well, yeah, it's an hour out of Denver.
There. No, I meant like you have to get there, and then you just keep going. Is what you like. You go the far way away.
For being an hour from one of the largest airports in the country, it is amazing how nothing there is near each PR.
At one point, 3 of us. We went together with Craigers from CMP, our friends down there. He was helping us judge. So the 3 of us carpooled often. So we went, and so Chris was like. So we keep driving and there's a hill and there's a lot of grassy land. There's some cows, there's some bison. And we say, like, wow, we've been on this road for a while. And Chris is like, it's definitely right over that hill. So we get over the hill. Definitely not over that hill.
No, we went up and then it was kind of a mesa.
Well, we didn't get there yet.
By the time you got over the hill, we were there, but we had to spend some time on the mesa.
And we were like,
first.
but I'm pretty sure like that hill might be it. And these are just, they were like rolling hills, right? Like we're not in the mountains at all. It is just literally going up and over a hill. Just to give you the idea of what's out there. But there was like a broken down gas station. We saw lots of cows. We saw a shooting range. There's a shooting range right across the street, literally in the freaking middle of nowhere.
No, again,
Yep.
no, the town where the hotel was the middle of friggin' nowhere.
Sure.
And then it's 40 minutes down the road.
True.
Oh, not with our car the way we were going. But oh well.
So it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
The accommodations are sparse, like water. They have to truck in the water.
At the track,
at the
yes.
track, right? Yes. So there are no
Well,
there are
they
no
had
bathrooms.
showers.
They
They-
did.
They
So
had a shower
trucked in-
trailer and a bathroom trailer. Don't say
Sure.
there's no bathrooms. And they had
And this
an
is,
abundant number of porta potties, but they're permanent porta potties. And
Which is
here's
even
the thing
worse.
about the right. Here's the thing about the permanent porta potties. They all have a latch on the outside.
Ask Chris how
So-
he knows.
Guess what your friends do when you go into said porta potty?
Legit. And then you walk away. And you
Oh,
tell them
that's-
they're not going to be back later because that
that's
definitely
awful.
happened. We only did it once. I didn't go in. 'cause I knew
but no,
Chris
this
would
should
lock
not
me in.
reflect on this should not reflect on the track staff, because the track staff.
We haven't gotten there yet. That's a
Yeah.
separate
Okay.
issue.
All right.
We're just talking the facility.
Yeah.
And it's a track that it's fairly recently built. They're gradually improving it as they have the money. It's a nonprofit track owned by the local car clubs. They have put their money into the technology around the track. They don't need flaggers everywhere because they have cameras and electronic LED flag light stations all over the track. And
We needed
it
to use
made-
the cameras at least once. So that was really interesting. We can get there later. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's an interesting concept.
And
But if-
Glenn, who
we're
runs the
not used
track,
to-
runs a very tight ship. He does a nice job with it. Everyone compliments how well it's run, and it seems like everything. The track didn't delay us in any way over the weekend,
And
at
they
all.
love lemons. Glenn,
do.
especially. Yeah.
Yep.
He's a big fan.
And
Yeah.
he sings the national
He
anthem
does sing.
personally every morning.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was a lot. He's on his 4-wheeler with his big cowboy hat and boots and happy to be there. So
I was-
regardless of the weather.
Yeah. I was actually on the track when the truck landed on its side. No 1 year. He's on his side. He's still safe. And I think the first person to get there was Glenn on the 4-wheeler. And he was, that was first responder level, top notch. Made me feel safe.
Good.
kind of a
You didn't
deal.
roll you didn't roll your car, so that's good.
No, I did not. So if you find yourself interested in HBR, and you should be, it's a great track. You're going to
Absolutely.
either stay in Lyman or Denver and drive about 45 minutes to an hour, or you're going to need to find an RV or just get comfortable being wet
Yep.
because it rained.
Yeah. So we stayed at the Budget Host Longhorn Motel, which is the nearest accommodations to the track.
It's the
only
The
accommodations.
only one
to
at
the
that
track.
exit.
It's named appropriately.
The rooms that were not taken up by the Lemon staff were rented by the Inglorious Bastards. So I also was staying there.
It's definitely budget. It was-
The
It was
The-
clean.
it was, but
Mhm.
it was like it's a seedy hotel, a decor. So, but it was clean and everything worked. So whatever.
It
we
was a
barely,
place to
we
sleep.
barely we barely stayed there anyway, especially since we were on a different time zone. We are just like whatever. Yeah. But the taco place, Mexican food place out front, top notch,
Yeah.
delicious.
Surprisingly
Highly
good.
recommend.
So good. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
Again, one of the
food- the Mexican food
Yes.
truck trailer right off the interstate, just under the bridge. That lady was very nice, and it served us a lovely breakfast burrito.
Yes, that was good too. So that's what you drive and you get off the highway and there's two
in
gas
Byers, I
stations.
believe. Byers,
Yeah,
Colorado.
it's
Sounds
Byers,
about right.
yes.
Yep, one hotel,
And
one
it's
Mexican
the
place.
Los Three Garcias, because it's a family place is the Mexican restaurant.
Got it.
Really Los Three Garcias. You couldn't put the trace in there. Mexican Americans.
Last year we were talking with the owner, and he said when he applied for his liquor license, he had to go to the county seat, which is, like another 5 exits up. They had no idea where the building was. He had to show them on a map where they're like, there's something there. He's like, yes.
It was surprisingly busy with all the race
very
people.
busy.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know where the people came from, but it was busy. And I don't know,
I'm sure they're very
everybody-
excited that we were all
Yes.
there.
Sure. And they're just happy when we leave. Okay. So that's location and accommodations. Track features. So this track's got some elevation change. Pretty awesome.
I'm
Mental,
gonna,
you actually drove the track, so you can tell us about it, because Chrissy and I did one
lap.
sightseeing safety lap in the minivan with John Pagel. So, and during that time, I said, this looks like a fun track to drive.
Yes.
it
and
that's all
really
I've got.
is. And you mentioned that it's owned by all the clubs. So anytime he turns a profit, the clubs are like, put it back into the track. We don't want any money back. And one of those is the Western, the Western Eastern, or no, I'm sorry, the Mountain Racers Association, which is a motorcycle thing. So the elevation changes are impressive. And I think I have a map. So we'll talk about this a little bit. And as soon as it gets way too boring, you guys tell me to quit sharing and I'll stop doing that. It's very much like any other track with a lot of elevation changes. You can spend a lot of time there and you can get comfortable on the track, but the nuances of it, you can spend 100 hours on that track and never get every little nuance of what you're doing, especially throughout the changing weather conditions. But for those watching at home, it is on the configuration that we were running, a 15 turn track. It actually goes over a hill, down around, back up that same hill, and then comes on there. You've got 2 big straightaways, and then that runs you along the, I'm going to say surprisingly spacious paddock area for as sparse as the track is, but it does
There's
fill up
plenty of
quickly.
room.
Yeah.
There was ample space for everybody.
Especially
And
the further you got back out, but really there's plenty.
And if you're
That's-
aggressive, they've got RV spots with full hookups, and then they've also got covered garages, which a lot of the veteran local teams,
they're
Mary and all
canopies.
those
They're not-
guys.
not
I'm sorry,
really-
canopies, and they back their
or-
trailers
I
up
don't know
to
what
it.
you call them, but they're
Yeah.
not. They don't have doors, so they're not.
No,
really
it's a
garages.
roof.
Thank you.
That's
It's
what
up
it is.
Which is great when you
covered-
have a lot of
covered
rain,
paddock
so
area,
Covered
yeah.
is fine. Yep.
Carport.
It helps a
Carport.
little anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's 2.55 miles, and they've actually got it set up so they can run several events at once. So it's a multi-configurable type deal. It has its steepest climb is 10%, and there are 300 plus feet of cumulative elevation changes per lap. And this kind of plays into what you guys were having to deal with all weekend. It's also at 5,054 feet above sea level. So there's a lot of folks up there. They were like, why can't I walk across the paddock?
We did okay with that.
We did fine.
Craigers did not. He was really struggling
because
on
Craigers
Sunday.
lives at 6 feet above sea level.
Yes.
He does. Literally.
Yes.
I mean,
So-
we're at all
we did
of
okay.
100, but it was enough.
But we also watched it, so we made sure we were keeping
Well,
on it.
you
We drank
guys,
a lot
you
of-
guys
we
do a
were
lot of
hiking.
hiking, and you've been to Colorado. You take vacations to Colorado to go hiking, or you'll go
Close
to the
enough.
Adirondacks and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So you guys,
Close
you've
enough.
done this before.
Yep.
Yeah.
But track had it, from what I saw, there was a couple spots that were going to catch you though if you do them wrong.
Yeah,
that's for
some
sure.
decreasing
Yes.
radius to some off camber, some of them like plenty of blind hills. I think.
Yes. Turn 5 is a left-hander, decreasing radius, off camber, blind downhill.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if it's humid, it gets very slick there.
Oh,
Humid.
just humid?
That's all it takes.
And yeah,
Fortunately, it's in the high
that's really
desert,
all it
but-
takes. Yes. But it was pouring rain all weekend, so that was a fun corner. And then that one leads down to turn 5, which is where I theorize everyone's transmission blows, because we never could get no one was getting traction in turn 6. And that is a 180-ish right-hander that leads onto a short straightaway in the back. And then you climb the hill into 7 for the hairpin into 8. And that one was always fun too, especially, as it would get darker. And then you're back down the hill for a series of turns on there. Turn 8 could get you. That's where the truck flipped over. Didn't flip over, landed on its side, saved it. And the series of turns after that are literally called to hell on a bobsled, because you are downhill, full throttle, and you go through gears faster than you think you would into the back straightaway. And that is followed by the 11-12 complex ladder to heaven. And then turn 13, which is cresting onto that hill for the 14-15 S's, which lead you on the main straightaway. And 13 is slick as hell. I don't know what's going on there. Like, perfectly seasoned, really good, long-haired, smart race car drivers would go off there without warning.
No
on
way.
their first or second lap.
And,
on their out lap.
Yeah,
Don't know what that was about.
And then they come in with all kinds of dirt and mess up my penalty box. And
so much mud on that car that some of it ended up on my street car.
True. Only
That's
because some people put it there, because we were pulling stuff off said car and noting how much dirt and grass there was.
So to let you guys in on that insider baseball joke, I got into the car late in the afternoon on Saturday, and on my outlap in the pouring rain went right off in turn 13. No excuse. Just lost all traction. And the worst part of this is I went to crank the wheel. I felt the front wheels give away. I immediately start touching the brake. And every time I touch the brake, the front end just locks up and I slide very slowly right into the mud, 4 wheels off. But the entire time while I'm trying to manage this slide, not cause an accident, not flip the car, in my brain, I'm going, I will never hear the end of this.
Oh my gosh.
This will never,
oh my gosh.
I will never, forever. So I truck through the mud, get it back onto the track, immediately go into penalty box, trying my best to beat the penalty. But as Chrissy mentioned, there are cameras, and this particular turn is in full view of everyone on the track. So yeah, I was already ratted out for a black flag before I'd even idled halfway down pit lane. And my friends were there, and Chrissy turned around and recognized the car and went, "Oh man, I can't believe." And then she recognized the helmet, and the entire tone
you
changed.
cannot get away when you have your name on your helmet. You cannot get away.
It's worse when your friends are the judges.
Yes, and you know, and
so
you
much worse,
and you know better. Oh, you're absolutely right. My tone changed, and I was like, "Oh, look, it's the Miata. Oh, look at them." And I was like, "Oh no, you are in much more trouble because it's you." Yes, no,
that's when I pulled the lengthy bits of agriculture,
all
from the
kinds
sides
of
the
yes,
car,
like whole
videos
weeds
of all
and
the
whole
mud on it. Right, those weeds ended up on the mirrors of his other Miata later on. It was great.
Because
Well, yeah.
okay,
Oh.
so
But yeah, there's a lot of track
I-
features. You guys took the lap on there. You thought it was an interesting track, and I've driven there. I've done the 24. That's where I did the what do they even call it? Just me and Derek Steinkamp did we did the 224s at the same time.
yes,
The effluence
Whatever.
of idiocy or something. So I do sincerely enjoy the track. The staff has a lot to do with it. And then it is an interesting track. And if you're looking for one of those away races, High Plains Raceway is a good one. It's not that expensive to fly into the airport. And if you've got somebody that can pick you up or rent a car, you'll be driving for a little bit, but it's easy to get there. Have some accommodations on that one. Lots of elevation changes and just interesting. And I think it's Colorado, so it doesn't count as Midwest, but I think they still maintain that Midwest sensibility that makes racing at Autobahn and Gingerman just polite. Chris?
I have a theory. I don't think it's necessarily the Midwest sensibility, because people in the Midwest, I think they're just brainwashed. They don't know any better. People in Colorado are almost all happy to live there. And any place that I've been to where the people are genuinely happy to live or have chosen to live there, their attitude is always notably better than places where people are stuck and would like to move or don't know they can get out of and things like that. Like you go to Portland, Oregon, Missoula, Montana, Denver, Colorado, places like that. The people are just going to be happier than in Paramus, New Jersey, for example.
We laugh, but he's right, and you know it.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the Colorado. You get Ian from Bisquick, Jason, of course, Mary, Dr. Mom, and Chris. They're out there. Corey was out there. Corey Dickman, our good buddy.
Corey was there. It was Aaron Cole. It was nice to spend some time with him. He's a wonderful guy. And
he dug you guys. That was fantastic. We were chatting about that in Gingerman.
All good.
And then Jan and Tom Cole. They always
wonderful.
bring it hard. The whole
Salty Thunder crew too.
Yeah. Three different cars for them.
All right. So mentally, now you mentioned the weather to start off. We'll say it again. Friday, hot, sunny, lovely day. And then it poured. And then it didn't stop raining really all weekend.
Nope.
That was
it did
much
on
it.
Sunday evening.
Actually, right as soon as the checker was over.
Correct. And then it would pour, and then it didn't again.
Saturday evening, too, after the checker, we had some dry time for the potluck, which we could talk about more in a bit.
Yes,
but it was dried out for the potluck. It rained the entire week, fire race, the whole race.
And some of it was drizzle. It went anywhere from drizzle to absolute monsoon, so much so that in the penalty box, which we can talk about, our penalty box, not really a penalty box at all, but would have wake. Cars would come in and there were waves. That's how much rain we had. Everything was wet. We were wet. We had jackets on the whole time. We tried not to get our shoes too wet. It was just wet.
Yeah, we were in the pavilion where you can sit and buy food from the trailer right there. It's one of the only dry places there. So we were okay. And one nice team loaned us 2 very good quality 10x10 pop-ups that were completely mission critical. So that was great.
Was it the Christmas Howdy team that did that?
No, it was the green E36 that didn't pass tech until like Saturday. That Correct. They still loaned us those things. Yeah. Yep. But it rained enough that I'm sure in the wrap-up video you will see this. You could, I'm not joking, swim in the water in the paddock. Not like splash in a puddle, actually swim.
He wasn't even dragging. Like he went to put a bag chair in, and the chair went the water went up to the back. It like went up to the arms, and then he decided to swim in it.
It was like a pool. I did see that. Aaron,
he got
showed that one.
Several diseases from it, but that's okay.
Yes, he probably did.
It's Colorado. That's probably relatively clean-ish water.
I'm sure
it's still puddle rainworm. There's got to be ringworm in there somewhere.
And like all of the runoff from all the engine swaps and oil and stuff. So speaking of oil, I took a video that may or may not make it of the our penalty box and how wet it was, but at some point there was not too much water but a running river, and it was it had all the oil stains. So we didn't even bother with kitty litter. It was somewhere between just an oil stain, all rainbows, and then there's splotches of big things of like very like mud. That's really what it was, is mud, but it was actually like a big pile of mud and then more oil slick. Multiple times during judging, a car would come in and they would be sitting there, and I'd be like, you have oil dripping, and they're like, no, we don't. And I was like, so this was a stream a little while ago, so it was clean. There was no oil, and I can see it dripping and running down the sidewalk. I was like, this is your oil. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Multiple cars.
And the mud chunks from everyone that would go off like mental, and they'd stop in the penalty box, and then the mud would start falling off in chunks. It was great.
Yeah.
All right.
It's that nice agricultural thick mud.
Oh yeah.
That you get at Thunder Hill, that you get at Button Willow. It had some heft.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
So Friday we had tech, and it was slow to start, but then once it started, we never stopped because there was only one line, because Pagel did every single car. So it was a little slow that way, but
It was
kept us coming.
We were like 1 to 5:30.
Yeah.
We were straight through.
We had a few people that put up a bit of a fight.
About
Let's
3
just
or
say it all
4
worked
cars,
out in
we'd
the
say.
end. Yep.
Yes.
All worked out fine in the end. We thought we did all right in the classing, considering that it was a wet race. No one was drastically out of place.
Only a couple pretty good themes, but the bribes were off the hook.
Yeah.
Every team brought a bribe. Many of them brought cases of, we had every kind of booze, some of them specially for each of us. So I had requested Denver quarters, because now you all know that I'm a dork and on my Friday evenings putting my quarters in my book. But they brought me Denver quarters, and one of them brought me like a book of minted Denver quarters. People just brought me piles of quarters, and they were like, hey, I think hopefully these are some that you need. And I'm like, okay. Chris asked for rum. Craigers wanted scotch.
Cigars and scotch, and he got both.
Yep. And we brought a couple.
So much left. Everyone got stuff. The corner workers got stuff. The love was shared. It was great.
All the beer went into the coolers, and we all had them after track went cold.
Not just a cooler. Didn't you guys have a?
That's what I was about to say. One team.
Yeah.
Their bribe was a college dorm fridge, not the little cube one, like the little taller one.
Big one. Yeah.
And they brought it to us on a dolly, stocked and cold. That's how you do it, friends.
Gatorade,
stocked and cold.
Water,
Gatorade,
and beer.
Water, beer, Red Bull, all ready to go.
It was
fantastic.
fantastic.
And it's Colorado, so beer game already.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was a variety too. So everybody was like, I kind of want this, and somebody was like, oh, that one's a good one. So yeah, that was also off the hook. Really, really good bribes. Actually, I want to say it was it was either Aaron or Jeff Stobbs said they've never seen this kind of hookup. Like, it was really, really good. So it was fun. It was great. Tech was a really long day. It was nice that it was dry because we were moving all around. We kind of like wished for a cloud. It was pretty hot.
One fool brought us these Mercedes shirts from Europe, and it totally didn't get him into Class B. Not that it would have mattered, but
never been in Class B.
And a really good bottle of rum, by the way. That they actually researched on the internet.
Hey,
and had to go to 3 different liquor stores in Las Vegas to find. Which was
There's
funny
a reason
because
we checked a bag on the way home.
Yeah, there was, because when I showed up to the third one, I'd gone to the second liquor store, and they're like, we don't have it here, but we have it at this one. I'll call over there and have them reserve it. And I walked in, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for so and so. The rum was called Mount Gay, and the guy goes, oh, you're the Mount Gay guy. And I'm like, in any other context, yeah, okay, sure. You know what? That's just I'm flattered. I don't think I'm that good looking, but okay. Yeah. All right. I'll take it.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, that's great. So Tech was really good. Long day, but we had a good time.
Okay. The race.
But you mentioned the themes weren't quite as on point, but there were good themes. What were you guys' favorites?
Well, the winners, we were judges, so we got to choose the winners. So you want to wait for the winners? We could.
Well, we talked about them last week.
Who were the themes that didn't get a trophy but still brought it pretty well, or were there any?
The Dropkick Bear Murphy Koala E46.
The Australian girl and the murder koala.
Yeah. Totally. Yes.
Like, I feel like if she showed up,
Dropkick. Yeah, it's something, I don't know.
I feel like if she showed up to murder me, I'd actually kind of be okay with it, because she's got that delightful kind of bubbly personality in the accent. She's like, hello, God. Just murder koala, here to take you. I'm like, all right, yeah, it's a good way to go.
And they had such a good attitude, so I was voting for them, but they got hit really early, and they worked and got it fixed, and they had put a whole new front clip on it basically, and they were like, yeah, we'll just go get that spare car a couple hours away, and they did, and yeah, they were great. Really liked them. They were fun.
Yes.
Wonderful. They were good. I don't know.
Don't try too hard with your swapped Miatas. I'll just say that to people. Like, you're on the edge. If it weren't a wet race, we would have clamped down a little harder. Some of those. Just say. Anyway, they're just. I wanted to. we'll talk more about the Saturday night festivities. I think that's where I was really impressed. But just Chrissy.
Yes, our Friday night activities. So we went back to the hotel, no problem, got dinner. This track has a moth problem.
Colorado has a moth problem.
Okay, well, Colorado has a math problem. They might have a
They got a meth problem too. Yeah, they
different
do.
parts
said
of
math.
meth, moth, math. That's Denver Tech Center area. They have a math problem.
I said math, but you
Right.
got meth, whatever. Okay, all the above. That was funny.
Here's what he wants to hear.
This is a MOTH, a moth problem. So they have a moth problem. The track had them. And so they were kind of flying into everything. There were plenty of cars that started actually each time we were racing. They were starting with moths in them. So we had one in our rental. We didn't play Guess the Rental. Did we say what we had?
Oh, we all
not
were
that,
in
but
the
we
we
were
all
all in the
drove the
Guess the
rental. We
Rental,
can't guess
so-
it.
Oh no,
Who's
no,
gonna guess it?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was thinking of the you guys Guess the Rental. That's not. There's nobody.
It was a
there.
Mustang
Pick it up.
convertible.
Ta-da! Okay.
Ah,
So
yay.
anyway, we had our car alarm was going off all night. All of the
Three-
names. So this
three
is
times it went off. 3 times.
I think it was more than that. You got up 3 times to get it, but when I went downstairs to go get stuff, it went off a couple more times. Whatever. It went off a bunch of times, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're that guy. Why is your car alarm going off?" We think the next day. I'll tell you another moth story, but anyway, we think it was the moth. It was stuck.
Yeah, we
in
think
the
the
car.
moth was
Yeah.
activating the motion sensor. There's a big moth, and it was
Yeah.
flying
It was
around in
a
the car.
huge honking moth that tried to kill
Yeah.
me in Craigers.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And
So
then the next day there was one in the truck, and then I'm halfway across Colorado on my way home, and I look
Moths.
in my rearview mirror, and there's a friggin' California condor-sized moth buzzing around the back of my Miata.
Yep.
Yep.
And they were, but
That's
they
about
were in
right.
race cars when they were starting. It was yes. It just
Oh, yeah,
had
several.
Yes. Okay. Racing.
I can't comment too much on the racing.
Me
A
neither.
few people got 3 black flags. Some people, we had a lot of people with their second flag, and so we did a new penalty for the second flag that was quick, and hopefully it'll be on the wrap up video. For those of you
No,
who
it
have
can't.
seen Dumb and Dumber, which should be most people because
You're
It's a
Americans
worthwhile
and you
movie.
pay your taxes.
right, exactly, it's a worthwhile movie. There's a time where they're heading west toward Colorado. Some point in the night, they made a wrong turn. Still in Kansas, but they don't know that. So they're looking around and say, I thought the Rocky Mountains would be a little rockier than this. The other guy says, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That John Denver's full of shit, man. So
And now I have living in Oklahoma, or when I was in Oklahoma, moving to Colorado and then back again. I have made that drive from Oklahoma into Colorado. And when you cross into Colorado, there is zero indication that you have left Kansas. You don't start seeing mountains until you are an hour and some change into Colorado, and where High Plains Raceway is.
so
It's
because
it's
we're the
Kansas at
Denver
5,000
race.
feet. Yeah.
right, we're the Denver race, but where those Rocky Mountains? They're not there. So I had the team get a second person there, which most of the time there was a second person already there. They got in the car, videoed that script there. So I think we got that 15 or 16 times on Saturday alone, and then we that was it. We were done with it after Saturday, but we got enough to make the point to do the John Denver. So that was a fun one that we did. Appreciate
Who
it.
who was the one that called the area around the track the Microsoft screensaver from the 90s?
And not me. It was
No,
Okay.
I don't know.
it was
It may
Craigers or
have-
Aaron.
Okay, yeah. It's back in the day when you had your, Windows 99.
Might have been Stobbs. That's kind of a Stobbs thing to say.
It was
but-
Stobbs. It was 100% Stobbs. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. He called it that one. On the track, I know there were issues. I didn't have any issues. And the racing was, I think one time someone got the New Jersey good luck symbol out of me. Because they were,
Really?
I just passed them and they were dive bombing me into a corner as I set up. I'm like, I have more motor than you. What are you doing? And I just kind of gave them the, Italian and didn't deal with them
no,
again.
so not
but
the full Rhode Island wave. Just
no.
what do you do? And okay.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, that's
But it
that's
was,
not so bad.
but the racing was, the fast cars were the fast cars, the slow cars were the slow cars. Everyone recognized that there were cars that were going to be quicker in the dry and then slower in the wet. And then some cars were just, good in both. The Subarus were remarkably disappointing with what should have been clean racing. And then the Class C cars were just doing a great job of being painfully predictable. Like across the board. I don't think I had an issue with a Class C car all weekend. Just nope, they're gonna start on the outside, they're gonna go to the inside, they're gonna go to the outside. They clearly see me, life is good, I'm gone.
So we had a lot of people, and I'm going to say a lot because it was more than average of people that were spinning or mostly spinning in their 1 to 3 laps.
Yeah.
It would be
tons.
fairly consistent. We would say, how many laps you've been in the car? I just got out. Okay. Or they're like, like 3. And we're like, I was like, is it more than 5? They're like, no. Yep. I
or
know.
they'd go 4 off.
Yes, right. Or they
Only
would
an
go off
idiot's
track.
going
spin.
4 off on like their out lap.
Right. Spinning or doing something.
You were in good company, sir.
Yes, but it was very consistent. Like we could call it. And there were, there were a couple that didn't, but for the most part, it was pretty consistent. So
I was also amazed at the number of people who don't have any understanding at all about rain driving. I'd start to ask people eventually, have you ever driven in the rain before? No. Okay. Oh, okay. So then I would give a mini chalk talk on rain lines and understanding how rain lines work, and that you just need to go find the traction. And I got to say, I don't think I only ever saw like one of those people ever again that I had
like
that
twice.
conversation with.
Yeah. I
Like
agree.
I would draw a diagram of a corner on the water and their windshield and show a standard line, a dry line, and then show a rain line. Like, look, this is why this is polished. It's got all the stuff. The pores are all full. You can find the other places. So try weird spots, feel the track, find the traction. Go forth.
And you guys have done this before. When it rains that much, the track will almost change from lap to lap. Because I'm doing the Chris Abbott, find no reflection, no reflection, no reflection, no reflection, dull spot all the way around. And then I come back around on the next track. I'm like, well, it's not the same because it was just constantly.
Yeah. So we had 16 or 17 rookie teams. And many of them some of them had never been on track before. And we were fairly surprised. Some of them were like, well, we did 1 HPDE last weekend. And we were like, wheel to wheel. No, nothing. Okay. So,
good luck.
Right. We were kind of impressed and noted that there were a lot of rookie teams, which didn't help if you've never raced in the rain because some of them had never raced before. So
some did fine. Others, not so much. It didn't listen to us, like the team with the Mercedes E430. We said, and what kind of brake pads do you have? Oh, they're stock. Okay.
They're like, but we changed the fluid. The fluid. And we're like,
that's good.
Cool.
We said, all right, guys, listen to me very carefully.
What?
This is a lot of car for you. This has a lot of power. And you're going to overcook the brakes, and it's heavy, and its suspension is squishy, and you have to be very careful with this.
Okay.
Second driver, guess who hit the wall hard enough to bend everything?
Oh.
Yeah. They were out.
And the walls at High Plains Raceway, they're spaced they're spaced smart. They're not right up on the track. So you got to cover a lot of grass. They found them.
Grass in the rain when it's raining all the time, plus oil that's leaking from your car. It's easy to find a wall because you don't stop when you hit the grass.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was the racing from our angle for the most part.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Cool.
when the track went dry, we high-fived everybody and then we went to a potluck. So the potluck here is a little different. There was a quick idea to have everybody convene in one place because of the rain. Fortunately, the rain let up and was really pretty dry that night. If it rained, it was later into the night, so which was great. So it is what we call trunk or treat style is what we would call it. They have different stations. People would decorate their stations. They would some had drinks and food. Some of them just had food. Most of them had full of crock pots and
music. Lots of good music.
Yep, you could probably eat one meal at some places, and then there's other places that had easy cheese and crackers and Mad Dog. So there,
There's the Malort station.
there's the
of
Malort
course.
station, yes, which we probably
Pause.
should its
Pause,
own
pause, pause for Malort.
but pause on it. But yes, put its own. There was pizza. There was plenty of stuff. People were bringing. Oh, we're gonna watch this video. Hold on. We're bringing people soup, like Chris Champion just brought over to a table. Okay, there's no sound.
Oh no, I didn't. I figured you keep talking. This is just
okay. This is just the video of me yelling at
Chrissy
you.
has just done her shot before the after taste of the Malort hits her, and right there you see her laughing, and then she starts to realize,
Yep.
oh dear God, what just crawled into my mouth?
And then I say it tastes like gasoline, and then everybody's like, "Yeah, I know." So Malort, if you've not had Malort, you must try it. No, don't try it.
And if you go to any race with the 9-finger drifter, so anything out here, kind of like Arizona, Colorado, anything.
They
with
go to
the-
CMP too. So
Yes, with the GDO, man, they are actually sponsored by Jepson's Malort.
Chris's favorite
And-
part of the Malort car.
Is the back of the car where they have a picture of them right after they've taken a shot of Malort. That's fantastic. Now,
Like
Mental,
big,
you
like,
you leveled up. You got a old style from Phil to do a proper Chicago handshake of the Malort and the old style. And I have to say, I had a funny story with Phil. Phil drove his Subaru Sandbar van, and it was one point, if I just didn't already know Phil and I didn't know where I was, it would have been an extremely sketchy thing when Phil offered for me to come back with him to his van for a beer because he had brought some interesting beers. And I go back in the van, has got like towels shutting all the windows so you can't see what it's in, but it's
There's
a
just
little tiny cave van.
There's just
So
a
it's
cooler
how
next
creepy
to
could
it.
be?
Like,
It's so small.
I think
Right.
my Miata is like half a foot longer than his
Right.
van.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but just
Longer? You think longer?
when the guy says, "Hey, you want to? I got some beer back at my van." That's usually not a great way to go, but this time it's Phil. It's okay.
Phil.
Yeah.
It's
No,
great.
so it was awesome. Yeah, so we had a great time bouncing between stations and talking to people and passing. The Malort, that's what I was going to say. Real quick thing about Malort. So it is not so bad when you first shot it, and then the aftertaste is enough to just kill you for like a good couple hours.
Matt Adair warned us. He's like, "You're in for a 15-minute experience."
Yeah, and it like changes it like burned my tongue.
When Matt Adair
kind
says
of.
no to the booze, he gets
No, he had
something you
some
gotta
before. He
consider.
had
Oh,
some
okay.
before we had
All
it.
right.
So,
Yeah.
but it was basically everybody's walking around like sucking their mouth because you would like burn off the like your taste buds kind of. So everything kind of tastes bad, and it
We'll have to go
just
get
tastes.
some Mad Dog from Jeff.
It
because
tasted
you have
like
to
you
get the
just like
flavor out.
licked the sidewalk or something. Like it was.
You
much-
drank the water from penalty. Got it.
Normally you drink a shot and it burns and you're like, wow, that was terrible. Let me just drink this beer. And then it just continued to get worse. So that's when you watch that video, which I invite you to go do. I'm glad we got that on video.
Yeah,
it's
it's on
why-
our Insta. We
That's
got a
why
lot of
you
response
see-
on that one.
You see the shot and you're like, oh, it's not so bad. Oh no, that's what I felt like my mouth was like.
The closest thing I can relate it to is if you've been under the car and you're just like, you've just gotten this, new pile of crap and you're working on it. And, it's got a dozen years of just stuff caked underneath it. And you're trying to get a fluid and a bolt stuck and you finally get the bolt loose. And then some mystery fluid flows into your mouth off of this filthy engine block.
How often does this happen?
More than
You
you'd
know,
like to think.
Apparently.
It just has to happen once because that was
Yeah.
a PTSD moment when I did that Malort. And I remember being under some rusty hunk of crap in Nebraska trying to change some fluid. Yeah. It's that tastes like the reason I actually always have safety goggles under a car,
Tonight's the night you fight your dad.
which is an actual marketing phrase of this company. And they had wristbands that they were giving out that said that.
I can
"Tonight's the
I can
night
see
you
it.
fight
It's-
your
I thought that
dad."
Johan had those made specifically for this.
I
think,
can
but-
see it over there. It's still
Yeah.
on the kitchen table. That shows how
Yes.
much we clean around here.
So,
Yep.
so if we haven't talked it up enough, next time you're at a race with Johan, go get you some Malort.
But the potluck legitimately was very good. Lots of great food. Aaron's wife Kelly made a whole bunch of delicious barbecue that was down in the pavilion. We started with that, and then we just went around everywhere. We had crepes and pizza and Malort and milkshakes and
Yes, the milkshakes were legit.
right. So much good stuff. It was a great, welcoming, warm, inviting atmosphere all around. The fact that it was only 70 cars made it a lot less chaotic than what we usually have in the Northeast. And then everything devolved into drunken karaoke in the pavilion because the pavilion has a karaoke setup, thanks to Glenn. So, yeah.
Yes.
That's when we pieced out to Journey.
Yeah. You had some predictables, but I was impressed with the married couple. God, what rap song were they singing? It was.
I don't know, but it was amazing. It was something about getting high, and it was like a rap song, but it was an obscure song that obviously they've sung to.
It was not so I got high. It was like getting high, meeting a girl, and like the girl is straight up like syllable for syllable, ludicrous style, talking about bending a girl over, and it was impressive. Just her,
it was impressive.
No pun intended. Her ability to actually enunciate every syllable, describing So
it was good. It was.
So
it was.
So we all agree. Thumbs up at the HBR potluck.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, really different. I don't think we could make that happen in our place. I can barely get people to actually come and bring their food to a table, let alone for them to assume that they're going to set up a table. Most of our paddocks are so spread out; it's really difficult.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with one of our regular listeners, Mike K. And they were talking about potlucks have gotten very strong, especially on the East Coast over the couple of years. They get like 2 hours of staying power, and then everyone's just back to their thing. And the one at HPR. It was rocking when we left. And we left late.
Yep.
And we had a bit of a fun ride home in the Mustang. We were all it was Mental and Krager's in the front, Chrissy and I in the back of a Mustang convertible. So we were all plenty of room. And of course, there was a moth flying around the car and flew around into Mental's
Don't
face.
drink, Mental. Don't drink right now.
It flew up Krager's skirt as he's wearing his utility kilt. And he made a really fun noise when he did.
Yeah. One of the most macho people we know suddenly hits a voice octave, 7 octaves. It's on my.
And then he flips it back, and then it's like flying in my face. And we're in the back of the convertible with the convertible up at this point.
Not
so
for
we
long.
say,
So
Mental, pull over.
We can solve this problem.
Pull the top down. So we are just laughing, and so we have a good half an hour drive back. And it's kind of
play
cold.
The Moth podcast briefly, just because I couldn't resist.
Perfect comic timing.
It was so good.
So all the cows in Byers, Colorado were subject to the 4 of us screaming Journey songs at the top of our lungs, blasting across the high plains of Colorado at 11:30 at night.
Yep.
It was one of those memorable fun times.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that Saturday night then. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we are hurt from laughing at the end of that. Oh, well.
And then after we went back and had a few nightcaps there in the room, and as I was leaving, the rest of the Lemon staff, not the big wigs, but the main support staff, they were downstairs doing the same thing. So they were offering, and I'm like, okay, seriously, I got to race a car tomorrow. I got to.
All of us did not, so that's why we were like, we're like, sure, let's keep going. Yes.
So that was fun. I feel like from my perspective, Sunday was more of the same weather.
Yeah, Sunday was exactly the same as Saturday. The race went on.
Extra care to go very, very slow.
Didn't go right. Yep, people were a little cleaner, which is good because Stobbs was doing tippy tap, so he would yell at random passersby. We did more of the coloring book. Someone gave us or I don't know if someone gave us. It was part of the bribe box or the judge's box.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't given to us. It was they bought it for the
Richard
box
had
to be
so
used.
it was Dick coloring books, like fabulous.
Not Richard's, actual penises.
Actual penises. So that was if you hit a third penalty, you had to lovingly color a page from the Dick coloring book. Some people were initially quite grumpy about it, but by the time they were done, no one was sad. They were all having a fun time with their coloring book.
Yes.
So we had a good time. So I've got the winners all here. We can talk about the winners briefly here. We're gonna keep this rolling. Winner on laps was Smokeweed Racing in a 1970 Datsun 510. You say, really, a Datsun 510 overall? And yeah, and they were bitching and moaning about being an A. Just bitching. And Eric had said, do not put them in B. And so we're not putting them in B. They're an A. They can bitch. We were right. How about that? Who knew?
Yeah. They drove clean, but holy crap, that car was fast. Good God.
Apparently they have a shop vintage bring race Datsuns. So yeah, that's why.
And there's a lot of times where people show up with very well built, very fast cars and they drive like dicks. I didn't think they were overly aggressive. Their
paddock speed was faster than would be desired repeatedly.
Yeah. But on the track, they would wait, and then they knew they had the motor, they knew they had the steering. They were just going to take you at will. And they weren't tools about it, at least everyone that I encountered.
Yep. Class B was Secrets of Slow in a 1990 Audi 90. Like they've been waiting for years for this day to come. A race with nothing but rain. They got it. Good for them.
If it rains where you live, you're ready for an Audi.
Yep. Class C was Screaming Weenies and an Isuzu Impulse that has hit everything but the lottery. Like there was nothing straight left on that car.
Matt Adair's nephew and his racing friends, and that car came out of Houston. That car has been around.
It's a 32-year-old Isuzu Impulse. Like where else is it going to go?
Rebody Geostorm. Yeah, it was.
Yep. Or choice was Whiskey and Donuts. This is an E36 team. That's his Pagel's choice. They're the ones that brought us the tents, and great guys, super nice. Their car, when it showed up Friday, it was a car with a cage in it. Nothing else was done. Like nothing, like no gauges, no seat, no belts, nothing else was done. They worked hard. They just kept coming back like, how's this? How's this? How's this? And eventually they got on track. They had a great attitude about it. They were in like no hurry either. No, we're just going to keep working on it. Very nice. Horic Fix was DAE Racing. That's a 944 that they put at a 1.8T. And of course, it had electrical problems. It involved getting new sensors for everything. And of course, because it's a Volkswagen 1.8T, that's 1 year only sensor. So they had to go find it from a 99 because that's what the motor was from, because that's what they had in the junkyard that day. They got a new ECU. They took the old ECU. They cleaned it with a toothbrush and brake cleaner to get all the contacts clean, all that kind of crap. Like eventually something worked and it ran. And then it blew all the charge pipes off because it actually was making boost and working. So, but eventually they got it fixed. They struggled that thing all weekend.
I remember him telling me, he's like, oh, we were feeling so joyous when we finally felt boost. So he strapped someone in and then pop. Yeah.
Yep. A judge's choice was Mofoco. In their Ford Focus Pac-Man edition, they played the Pac-Man songs until the speakers shorted out from the rain. Unfortunately, great attitude, nice people. And,
he told me they knew they had it right, and that was Jeff's suggestion of having to play the Pac-Man theme. So we knew we had it right because everyone that walked by us would laugh, but the two people on either side of us absolutely hated us.
Yep.
Not surprised.
And we woke up.
We don't care.
Yeah. We'd get to the track and we'd be prepping to get ready there. We knew the day had started when you would start hearing the, yeah. And they played the Pac-Man Fever 1978 soundtrack on repeat.
Yep.
Over. Yeah.
The I Got Screwed was the Vannenball. I mean, he got a good run of trophies out of this. Zach did. He got screwed because
why did he get screwed? This is a great story.
He had the IOE locked down pretty well. He was in like the top half of the field. He was running great in a minivan, and then they did a brake pad change because they're doing AutoZone Valuecraft lifetime warranty replaceable alarm, right? But they did it wrong, and that left front wheel, the caliper was locked up. Like Craigers and I were looking at it, was smoking. We could see the caliper locked up. They went back to jack it up to get it, and Zach was the one that jacked it up. And they have a rule: Zach's not supposed to do that. it's a good rule because when he did, he jacked it up on the timing cover and broke a piece off on a 1 year only slightly unobtainium timing cover on that Chrysler engine. And yeah, so
and Zach
screwed.
is a fantastic person, wonderful to talk to, great to hang
Yep.
out, because you guys hung out with him in New Jersey. He was loading everybody
Yep.
up in the van and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. He's an adventurer. He's an intrepid soul. He is not a car person.
Yeah.
He's better now than he was 3 or 4 weeks ago. So there's that.
Yep.
There's that.
Totally. The regional award was Smells Like Rookie Spirit. Went to 42 hours of melons. They had an E30, a 4-cylinder E30, watermelon theme, but very thoroughly done. They gave us watermelon everything for bribes, which no one wanted because no one actually likes watermelon flavored anything. They
Except
were
watermelon.
right. They were in the top 10 coming into the end when they had their spoiler. They bumped something or it fell off, whatever it was. They had to fix that, but they good attitude, did really well. Nice job for them. And HMG went to Hangar 13 Racing. This is Jan and Tom Cole and company and kids. And you can tell Jan's kids, they're very clearly Jan's kids. And they did a fantastic theme with their 72 Vega. It was the Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction. So the outfits were right. In costume all weekend. They had a bunch of people walking around with the briefcase you open with the gold lights inside, including quite often normal well-adjusted Mike. And when normally well-adjusted Mike walks around in a suit and wants to show you what's in his briefcase, it's usually not a thing I would suggest, but
Some things
this
were
time you did it.
okay.
Yep.
Some things were not.
Yep.
Yeah, they had gone to a thrift store and bought a dozen of those things.
Oh, did they?
Oh yeah, no two briefcases were the same. Every
Oh.
briefcase had something. One of my favorites was on Saturday during the day. Normal, well-adjusted Mike comes up to me and offers me the briefcase, and I open it, and it's Rain-X, Barbasol, and some blue terry cloth towels.
Yep. Yeah, so I made the mistake of I opened it 15 times. The one time he gave me my bribe with a pile of quarters in one of the briefcases. That was okay. Then the one time I opened it and it was his race shoes, and I was not okay with that. So that happened.
Because Mike doesn't wear shoes very often.
He did most of the weekend. So
because
there
it was
that.
raining, but yeah.
No, because he was in costume. He wore
Oh,
his
yeah.
jacket and all of his actually more clothes than he probably normally does through the whole race. Yes, that's where
Yep.
we got the milkshakes. We could make them add booze if we wanted to, which was great. And they're just awesome people. So
Yeah.
it was awesome. It's
Yeah,
good
Tom
to
and
them.
Jan are just fascinating
chopper
people.
bicycle for a Judgemobile that
Oh,
was
right.
like a really good replica
Sketch.
of the chopper from
It's a
Pulp
touch
Fiction.
sketch.
Yep.
Yeah, It's
Totally.
not a motorcycle, it's a chopper, baby.
Yep. Which chopper is this?
So yeah.
That's awards, that's results. In general, very nice time. Lovely people.
Yep.
Reasonable selection of cars.
Normally when we say we go to a away
Fun
race,
track.
especially that we've never been to, we are very sad that we're not racing. This weekend we were not sad we were not racing because we would have been sad, especially in somebody else's car. Truth, it would have been sad to pay for us to be racing on this track during this weekend. There was not a whole lot of dry
Yep.
time. Somebody said on Sunday, they're like, I said, when were you out? And they said, I was out yesterday when it was dry. And I was like, was it dry? I think that
It's a
No.
I think it was
relative
like
concept. Everything's very relative. Yes.
sure 20 minutes there might have been some dry, but that's about
Yeah.
it. So we weren't really that sad.
One of
I
the
like to
drivers on
drive
my
it.
team, Dan, good driver, drives a Formula Mazda. He got the dry session on Saturday and set fastest lap of the weekend. And I lucked out on Sunday and I got the dry 30 minutes. And
I didn't realize there was a dry 30s on Sunday.
yeah,
Okay.
just enough for me to get fastest lap. And then it started raining again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
Um,
I probably didn't notice when it was dry because that was the exciting time that I could run from the pavilion to the restroom and not get super wet. So that's probably the times where I just neglected to realize that people are racing and it's dry over there.
because that river on the other side, opposite side of where the pavilion is,
Mhm.
that's a 4-foot wide river.
Yeah.
You know, the team had taken your New Jersey thing and laid out the planks,
The ramps, the ramps to your trailer so you can use them as bridges. Yes,
Yeah.
we've done that. thing.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
I see a lot of good stories.
Anything wrap it up?
Yeah. I was with Jerry Ringel. I get to race with Jerry about twice a year, and Jerry is just, those guys are always fun. We all had dinner with them, that whole crew, Friday night.
Yeah, great folks.
Yeah, just always. In fact, I think Jerry bought dinner for everybody, all the different staff people. Good guy. I always like hanging out with Jerry, and I think we've got some more nonsense planned this year. So I got invited to that. So that was a great story for me. I enjoyed that. And what everyone who's listening doesn't know is I didn't tell Chris and Chrissy I was coming. So I was trying to be sneaky, drove all the way up there, drove all night, got off work Thursday, went home, grabbed my bag, did a 12-hour cannonball, got to the track just in time for tech, and was trying to walk backwards so that they wouldn't know it was me until right up on there. And instantly they both go, "Hey, hippie, get a haircut."
I think I saw you because somebody said, "Oh yeah, but you know Mental's here," and I was like, "No, I did not know," because we were working. And then Chris was talking to somebody with a car, and I think we brought him over. But no, somebody totally screwed the surprise.
Surprise.
Yep.
We're still surprised.
Yes. No, we were.
We hadn't been in the same place since New Jersey last year.
Something like that.
I guess.
Yeah.
I
So,
see you every week, so that's why I think that
I do, but at the same time, it's just different in meat space. I miss you guys.
Oh
yeah. So that was
nice
a lot of fun. So I'd wander over and watch you guys dispense justice and laugh and be glad that it wasn't me. And then the infamous moth incident that honestly I have paid for core classes to work out that I did not get the workout in my stomach that we did, just laughing about the moth and the absurdity of that one. So that was just it was a great time all around. And then also it's just, we've all been doing this long enough that we have friends in all these different spaces. Tom and Jan Cole, Ian from Apex Adjacent, the crew in the Porsche, the 1.8, there's just so many great guys. The Mofoco guys, they were all happy to be there. Just what a great time. Just getting to see everybody. Corey snuck in on me. I didn't know he was coming. So
it was a good time.
Yes.
Everybody asked us when we're coming back. We're like, it's going to be for a while. So. Yep. Awesome.
What were some of you guys? Just, I'm.
You listed all of them.
That was it.
Yep.
Good times, good people. Looks like a good track. Would do it again. Would recommend.
A little wet.
4.5 stars in weather.
Yeah.
Moths.
Friends. Okay. Is it what is this? Is this just a tip time?
It is just the tip, and I'm sorry to disappoint everyone for like the third episode in a row where you're not going to get just the tip from Chrissy. You're going to get it from me. Okay. Linked in our show notes is a story from the folks over at Motorious.com. It was a classic car, a 1947 Suburban. They're out taking it out for a cruise. The brakes fail. I question their actions after this point, but I can see how they got there. So while the brakes fail, the driver of the car, she freaks out. She calls the cops. "I'm running red lights. I can't stop my car. Please, someone come help me." A California police cruiser gets in front of the 1947 Suburban and in very much old Chips TV show fashion uses their car to slow the Suburban to a safe stop. Everyone was fine, but that's not the tip. The tip is, okay, if your brakes fail, maybe don't be on your phone. But when was the last time you checked the brakes on your fun car, on your tow pig, or your street legal race car? Maybe the track is not the place to do that. Maybe you don't want to take it out and run around the block before you've checked the fluid, checked the brakes, checked the calipers, make sure they're not seasoned. Just the car that you don't drive on the regular, get out there, do a visual inspection, do a mechanical inspection before you put that car on the road. What's going to stop you? You better know, because you may not have a good cop with a sense of nobility that will put their big giant Ford Explorer in front of you and slow you to a safe stop. It might be a tree, concrete barrier, or a carload of nuns and orphans that you just don't want to hit. So if you haven't driven a car in a while,
having a backup plan. Understand that gears can slow you down, as can parking brakes, as can if you really need to rub a wheel against a curb, something like that, that'll slow you down. Like, these are other options as opposed to just help.
And
He
worst
will.
case, in an automatic transmission, just shut the car off. Turn the key. Kill it.
Yeah.
All right. It will be ugly mechanically, but it will not be a smashed
it'll be
car
fine.
or a smashed car into another car.
Right. To somebody else.
It's in my color, but I refuse to take it. Do we know what we're talking about next week?
We sure do. We talked about Colorado. Now we can talk about New Jersey. So come back faithfully for the New Jersey Hangover show next week. Yep.
Yes.
Thanks for
Because the wheel in the
downloading us,
sky
everybody.
keeps turning.
It does. More of that to come. We hope
You
you
have
enjoyed this week's edition of
gonna say,
Everyone Racers.
There's your music.
We
can
also
hear it
hope
now.
you will join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe, totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you didn't like us at all, give us 5 stars and tell us why. We will absolutely read that on the show. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us, everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text us, 484-243-0455. Mental loves to see pictures of your junk. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at Everyone Racers, or everyone.racers, really. YouTube and Facebook, Everyone Racers, even Reddit /E1R. Thanks again. And until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless it's just pouring rain, then keep the side that drops the rainbow water down.